Pastor Chad, pastor here at the Table Church in San Benito. I hope you've had a great Tuesday. How was your Tuesday? We are in Lent, the Lenten season. We're in the book of Job, and so we're making our way through the book of Job. I want to point something out. We gave it this way on Sunday. If you want one of these, I'll make sure you get it. I'll send you an electronic copy of this if you just drop a comment into the Facebook page or YouTube comments there. But anyway, this is 40 days, a 40-day reading plan for the book of Job. And right now, let's see. Today is the 3rd, so Job 18 is today. Now we're not looking at Job 18. We're actually going to be Job 3 for today. But Job 18 is where we're going, and we're going to make all the way to Job 42 by the time it is over. Anyway, we're in the book of Job. It's a great book for the Lenten season, and I challenge you, pick up a Bible and just begin reading. It allows us to say things that, by the way, it makes us feel uncomfortable, but it's okay. That's the whole thing about lament. Job is full of lament. We'll talk about lament here along the way and what that means, but it's okay to cry out. It's okay to tell God exactly how you feel, and Job does here. Job 3 is what releases the torrent that is the rest of the book. Job 3 is one of the most underrated chapters in all of the Bible. And Job starts off by saying he curses the day he was born, and then he just starts, he gets on a roll. And not only is he cursing the day he was born, he wished that day unexisted. He twists it all around to the point where it's like a black hole. Not only should he have never been born, the day itself should become undone. It's the unbirth day. So there's a lot going on in Job chapter 3. The one thing, though, that I want to talk about today is that this is a chapter. There's a lot of chapters in Job for this, but Job 3 especially, for those who are internally angry. Job is internally angry. It comes out in a couple of different places, and it's the verse we looked at on Sunday here at the table. I encourage you, by the way, go look at that, our service on Sunday. And thinking about verse 23, he points a finger at God. He puts God in the docket. God's on trial. Job's a prosecutor. And Job 3:23 says this: "Why is life given to a man whose path is hidden, whom God has hedged in?" He's talking about why is life given to man. So again, we got this idea of why should I have been born? Why has life been given to a guy whose path is hidden? First of all, we've all been there. When we think the path is hidden, we just don't know what we're supposed to do with life, where we're supposed to go with life. Of course, Job, in Job chapter 1, loses everything. He loses the house. He loses his business. He loses his family. He loses everything. And then in Job chapter 2, he loses his health. So he's lost everything. In fact, he even loses the support of his wife. That's also in Job chapter 2. So he has lost everything, and he is in the ash heap. So this is why he's wishing he had never been born. And he's saying, why did this happen? By the way, circle, if you have get a copy of Job that you can circle like this. Just go through all the whys. Just circle why. That shows up in Job chapter 3. He feels betrayed. In fact, he's pointing the finger at God. Look, you've hedged me in. You put me in prison. The irony is that's the exact same words that Satan used in accusing God of hedging Job in. God's like, have you considered my servant Job? What do you think about him? And Satan says, yeah, of course. He likes you. Why wouldn't he like you? Look what you've done. He's one of the richest men. In fact, Job 1 says this. He's the most successful man in the East. He's the biggest. He's the Elon Musk of that world. He's got it all. He has everything. Of course, he's going to bless you, God. Take it all away, he's going to curse you. And what happens? He loses it all. He goes from having a $1 billion bank account to zero. And as he talks about it, minus. No, it's bad. And so he feels betrayed. God, you've hedged me in. He feels like he cannot breathe. It's okay. It is okay to talk about and talk to God about the way you feel. And so many times in my life, there's like a version of Christianity where you're never allowed to do that kind of stuff. No, that's not true. You're allowed to doubt, and that doubt can persist. You're allowed to tell God exactly how you feel. Like you've screwed this up. That's what Job's saying. You've messed this up. You've hedged me in. I'm in prison now. And he's not cursing God. He comes up, he gets real close. But he feels betrayed. He's internally angry. And if there's any one thing I want to say this evening is that is okay. It's all right. Tell God exactly how you feel. And when you do that, go and take a look. He's basically saying not only is his path hidden, but God is hidden from me. That picks up, by the way. We're talking a little bit about that this week. He's wanting an answer from God. God doesn't give him an answer. He says, my path is hidden. God's hidden from me. And God's hedged me in. When we start to feel like that, it is okay to feel that. There are no answers. That's our series, Faith Without Answers. We don't have answers. To always want answers, to always want to be in control. And man, the whole book of Job is just a smackdown of that. We have this idolatry of always having to have the right answer. We have to know the answer. We have to be right. That's the other thing. We have to be right. We have to be on the right side. No, we don't. We don't. The gospel frees us to be wrong. But when we're feeling betrayed and we're feeling like God's hidden himself from us, then we say that out loud. But we come back to Job 3:23 and realize the irony of what Job is saying. Because the reality is, God has hedged Job in. That was the accusation, Satan. You've hedged Job in. Take it all away. The funny thing is, Satan was wrong about what the hedge was and what was going on with the hedge. It was all about the material. It was all about the success. No, it's all about Job himself. Yeah, in fact, God says, you can take it all away, but you can't lay a hand on Job. Lay a hand on everything else, not Job. You get to Job 3, that's still true. You get to Job 42, that is still true. You get to 2026, that is still true. Nobody can lay a finger on you and your relationship with Jesus. Ever. And Jesus himself isn't going to take that away because Jesus himself is your hedge. He died to be your hedge, to protect you, to keep you, to always have you. So your whole world can go to complete meltdown. But he always has you. He's your hedge. Jesus plus nothing equals everything. That's our conversation at the table. I wish we could spend a whole lot more time in Job 3, and we're going to keep coming back to this chapter this week. There's few chapters like it in the Bible that just touch all sorts of issues that are going on in our lives. In fact, the whole book does. It's why some consider it one of the masterpieces of literature in the ancient world, and Job itself, the whole book. It really is. So we're looking at the book of Job, faith without answers, because that's exactly what's happening with Job. Hope you have a great Tuesday evening, and again, I hope the rest of the week is going well. We'll do this again. If you got questions, leave them in the comment section, either here on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page. But I want you to be part of this conversation. Until next time, remember this: that Jesus unconditionally, unstoppably, and absolutely loves you. He always, always has you.